this is Scott from Scott Shot Media. Today is Friday, December 11th, and this is what is happening on the mountain. We have 4 Caltron projects scheduled today, and then one of them is going to last all weekend long. Stick around, I'll tell you where you might find yourself delayed if your commute takes you up and down those highways. Moderate fire weather forecasted for Sunday due to some gusty winds. It's a typical Santa Ana wind condition. It's just not going to be very warm, and it's not going to be very strong. So not going to be too much to worry about. But we'll keep watch on it just in case. Any wind, by the way, when we don't have any moisture on the ground, could be bad. So we'll still need to be cautious. There are currently no fires or major incidents on the mountain. Like I said, we will be have an elevated fire risk. For now, we are at a low risk through Monday. And then once we have that mild Santa Ana-like condition come in on Sunday, we'll dry out a little bit more than we like to see. And so we'll go back to an elevated fire risk for the following 3 days. For the first time in a while, there are no crimes to report. That's always great news, at least not in the past 24 hours. There are only 2 Southern California maintenance outages going on right now, affecting a total of 65 customers. There's still that ongoing public safety shutoff notification going on the backside of Big Bear in the canyons and passes above Lucerne Valley. Shouldn't affect mountains communities unless there's actually damage to the power lines, and then we might see some power shutoffs to the Big Bear Valley. And that should be around probably through this wind event as well. And we might even see some additional public safety shutoff notifications go out Sunday night due to those gusty winds. And lastly, 26 new COVID cases reported on the mountain in the past 24 hours. So that's what I have for you for the quick minute or two. If you have several more minutes to stick around, I'll go into greater detail, starting with traffic. Traffic looks great for a Friday. Ski slopes are open this weekend, so we can expect to see an increase in commuter traffic and visitor traffic this evening, and then definitely on the downbound side Sunday afternoon and evening. As far as construction work goes, Caltrans has the ongoing emergency work on State Route 38 between Old Mill and Jenks Lake. That it will last all day today, tomorrow, and Sunday. On the backside over here on 138 past Lake Silverwood, if your commute takes you out that way to Hesperia area, you'll be down to 1 lane for some utility work. The ongoing long-term guardrail repair work over here in the Twin Peaks area on State Route 189 will have you down to 1 lane until about 4:15 this afternoon. And of course tonight, if you go up and down the 330, you may see some construction work on the interchanges. They may have a detour set up if they're going to be doing work tonight on that interchange. Weather looks great, other than the gusty winds overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. It's not it's Santa Ana like. It is an offshore flow, but it is a little bit cooler. The humidity shouldn't be as low as a traditional fall Santa Ana wind conditions. So we're not going to see any extreme fire conditions, and we're hopefully not going to see any damage caused by these winds. And it's mostly going to be on the western half of the mountain. They're not even forecasting strong winds in the Bear Valley right now. But we'll have partly to mostly sunny skies through the weekend and into early part of next week, with no measurable precipitation in our short-term forecast window. The hazardous weather threat matrix. You can see for fire weather, we are at a moderate risk on Sunday. After that wind event passes through, when we dry out a little bit, maybe some lingering gusts, and then for the time period after that, we'll be at a minor fire weather risk throughout the region. No Santa Ana warnings, no red flag warnings, no high wind warnings issued as of now. Doesn't look like it's going to be a super strong event. We'll see some gusts peaking at midnight on Saturday night and then decreasing Saturday morning. Actually, Sunday into Monday, very mild winds, and that should be about the pattern until the following weekend, where we can see maybe a storm system moving in. Still a little early, might not make it here, but there's a low pressure system setting up, and it really depends on the jet stream and whether or not we get any rain or snow out of it. There are no fires burning on the mountain right now, no major incidents to report. Everything's looking pretty good. Again, we are under an extreme fire danger on the forest floor, so all of the warnings and watches that go along with that will be in a place, and that'll probably last through the end of the month and the end of the year before January, February, March shows us with a below average fire risk. We are at a low risk for new fire starts and fire spread for the next few days. But then once that wind event leaves us on Saturday night, Sunday morning, we are left with a moderate risk for the following few days. California Edison power outages going on right now, affecting about 65 customers, 59 of them in Lake Arrowhead, as Edison replaces a power pole, and their power should be restored by 4 o'clock, and also over here in Running Springs, 6 customers without power until about 3 o'clock as they get a power pole replaced as well. We still have that public safety power shutoff possibility on the backside of Big Bear in the canyons and passes above Lucerne Valley due to some gusty winds that are ongoing back there, and then potential wind gusts from a mild Santa Ana event coming in Saturday night. Lastly, we have 26 new COVID cases reported in the past 24 hours on the mountain, 9 new cases in Big Bear City, 3 new cases in Big Bear Lake, 7 for Crestline, 3 in Lake Arrowhead, 1 in Rim Forest, 2 in Running Springs, and 1 in Twin Peaks. You can see on your 7-day average, 7-day trailing. So this is from 8 to 14 days ago, where your community was, whether it was widespread or minimum. That's basically where we've been hiding or residing for the past couple of months on the state's 4-tier risk assessment system. This is based upon the total number of positive cases out of 100,000. So sometimes even in communities that have very small populations, one new case can change it from a minimum to widespread risk. How do we look regionally? In the Bear Valley, on the average, we are widespread based on that 4-tier risk system. Also in the rim communities, you can see over here on this chart the total percentage of people who have been infected since the start. So we're hovering right around the 2% on the average. 2% of all mountain residents have been infected with the coronavirus at one point in the last 8 or 9 months. But on a daily basis, we are using the state's 4-tier color system. As of today's numbers, there are 52 residents out of 100,000 who have been infected and who are currently infected. And so if you, that were infected today in the last 24 hours. So that number is 26. 26, we have 50,000 people. 26 divided by 0.5 gives us our 52. But as bad as that sounds, look at the rest of the county. The county is at 153,000 per 100, or 153 per 100,000, and almost 5.5% of the entire county population has been infected since the beginning. The rest of California is at 85 out of 100,000, with 3.75% of the entire state having been infected since the beginning. And the rest of the country is at 68. We're almost 4.25%. So we still have some work to do. We still need to follow our rules to keep these numbers down here. Make sure our local hospitals don't get overrun by sick patients, because our ski resorts are still open. So both Bear Valley and Lake Arrowhead Mountains community, both hospitals on the mountain are often busy, especially on the weekends, with weekend injuries and accidents, plus we still have car accidents. And so when we fill those hospitals with sick people, our injuries have a hard time being treated properly as well. So it's very important that we follow our protocols for no other reason than to keep our hospital census low so that those two small community hospitals can properly treat the injuries and illnesses that happen on a normal resort community weekend. So again, this is Scott from Scott Shot Media. That is what is happening on the mountain. We won't do a live, or we won't do a news broadcast tomorrow or Sunday unless there's some breaking news from the emergency standpoint, traffic, weather, fires. We will post on Facebook and on other social media channels updates from Caltrans, CHP, local fire departments. If there are any minor incidents going on, feel free to email me, Scott at Scott Shot Media, to give me a text message. Like us on Facebook, especially what is happening on the mountain. Share it with your friends if you find this information useful, and follow along on my YouTube channels, or on my social media channels, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope, for that late breaking news. Everybody have a safe, have a fun, and have a healthy weekend.